Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's March 1st, 2017. This is a quick follow up to the video I put out 2 days ago on the reported mistake at the end of the 89th Oscars. If you haven't seen this video, I recommend you take the time to watch it. I will link it in the description. A lot of important information here. But I overlooked something huge, and that's what we're going to connect right now. Just as a quick reminder, the reported mistake at the end of the 89th Oscars was made by actress and actor Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty, who co-starred in the film Bonnie and Clyde 50 years earlier. That film debuted August 13th, 1967, a date that has a lot to do with Donald Trump, which we covered in the last video. That film was said to be possibly the most controversial Hollywood film ever because it cast villains from history as heroes, and the film was extremely violent. And I just want you to think about casting a villain as the hero in terms of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a man that stands for greed, deception, dishonesty. He's known for keeping his businesses afloat by using bankruptcy laws that are there to exploit the poor and keep the rich in power. You know, Donald Trump, just before the selection, the rigged selection of Donald Trump, exactly 33 days before November 8th, we got the story of Donald Trump on the bus, the recording with Billy Bush, him talking about how because he's a celebrity, he can just do whatever he wants to women. He can lean in and kiss them. It doesn't matter if they're married or not. He can go for them because he's a celebrity. He said he loves to grab their pussies. It's just unreal to think that this guy became the president of the United States. I mean, you talk about a villain being cast as a hero. We have the orange Oompa Loompa as the president of the United States. And if you missed the videos I put out right after his selection, I showed how years ago Donald Trump was in a TV sitcom, sort of a comedy, a Dennis Leary show. Dennis Leary's out to dinner with a woman on a date, and Donald Trump walks up to their table and says, "Hey, Dennis, are you fucking this woman?" And Dennis Leary's like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, are you fucking this woman?" And Dennis Leary goes, "No, I just met her." And in that moment, Donald goes in and kisses this woman who Dennis Leary's out to dinner with, and then tells the woman to call him later. You know, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that you saw on the bus with Billy Bush and the things Trump said. And don't be surprised at all if that recording with Billy Bush was made just the day before it became news. They said the recording was from 2005. But in reality, it was probably all just part of the planned performance of putting Donald Trump, the villain, in as president of the United States and mocking the people with this recording just a little more than a month before he was president-elect. Anyhow, the piece that I missed with Bonnie and Clyde is this right here. Bonnie and Clyde were murdered on May 23rd, 1934. And for anyone who's been following me for the last year and a half, I've been talking about May 23rd, Donald Trump, and assassination foreshadowing. I was saying a year ago, they're connecting Donald Trump to the date May 23rd, and they seem to be connecting it to a shooting or an assassination. Now, here we are, 2017, Trump's the president of the United States. There was just this special ending to the Oscars that was no doubt pointing directly at Donald Trump, as I showed in the last video. And now we find out that Bonnie and Clyde were murdered on May 23rd. This was something I did not catch until last night. But there's more. The name Donald Trump in satanic gematria, which is a cipher I was not aware of prior, sums to 523. Based on how much they've coded the number 523 next to Donald Trump, I do not think this is a coincidence. I am not well versed in the language of satanic gematria. I have not studied it, but I find it very interesting that in satanic gematria sums to 666. Donald Trump, 523. And for more than a year and a half, they've been coding this number next to Trump. Something you would never see unless you're aware of the language of gematria. We've talked an awful lot about how Donald Trump equals 138. The film Bonnie and Clyde came out on August 13th, 13/8. Remember, in history, this is the date Berlin Wall construction began, August 13th, 1961. Donald Trump was announced as the 45th president on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall equals 45, like Trump being the 45th president. Also, there's been a lot of parallels between Trump and JFK, the last president to be assassinated. JFK, one of the last things he did as president was gave a speech at the side of the Berlin Wall. That speech came 149 days before JFK was assassinated. 149 is the 35th prime number. JFK was the 35th president. The word Catholic equals 35. JFK, the only Catholic president. JFK was also killed exactly 831 days, the reflection of 138. JFK was killed exactly 831 days after construction on the Berlin Wall began. Donald Trump, August 31st, 831, 2016, met with the president of Mexico about building the wall, reportedly. So anyway, I just wanted to give you this additional information. We already saw how this film, this mishap, as it was reported at the end of the Oscars, was pointing to Donald Trump. Remember, from the election to the mishap was 110 days. They gave us the wrong winner. The word president equals 110. Right now we have the very wrong president in the White House. Any American who says that Donald Trump, inspires them with hope or anything like this, anyone who supports Donald Trump, all that person is filled with is Satan. Absolutely. And know what Satan is. Satan is what's wrong. Greed, hate, dishonesty. There is no way to look at Donald Trump and think that's a good person. If you're Christian and think Donald Trump is with you, did you listen to Donald Trump in his own words? He was asked by a minister to say what his favorite Bible verse was since he was claiming to be Christian, and he said he didn't know any, but he knew his favorite line from the Bible was an eye for an eye. Are you Christian? Do you know what Jesus taught? He taught that was wrong. That's the opposite thing to do. Donald Trump, who claims to be Christian, says his favorite thing is an eye for an eye. The people in our government, it's beyond Donald Trump, the people in our government have always represented dishonesty, greed, tyranny. He's just the latest little devil to be in there. But at the same time, he's also the most disgusting symbol to ever be in there. We've never had anybody, on the record saying they can just grab any woman's pussy they want, as Donald Trump has. And seemingly his supporters have no problem with. But that's what it is. It's the U.S. The U.S. is a sick place. The U.S. is a mentally perverted place. And do you know why? Because the U.S. has been programmed by the TV, which is run by the Zionist Jews and the Freemasons, known as the Synagogue of Satan. We're living out their world, their plan, their design, their ongoing operation by the numbers. This whole gematria thing is a Jewish practice. So I wanted to give you the latest on the Bonnie and Clyde, May 23rd. If you want to go back and watch my older videos, been connecting May 23rd to Donald Trump for so long. This is just the latest. Also, just days ago, this article written about witches wanting to cast mass spells on Donald Trump. Notice the dates given for the casting of these mass spells. March 26th, April 24th, May 23rd. These dates are in 2017. May 23rd is the third date listed. Don't they say the third one's a charm? Think about that in terms of casting spells. So we'll see if there's to be any May 23rd news this year. One more thing I'll point out about May 23rd. That is a date with 45 numerology, 5 plus 23 plus 17. Just like the night of this Oscars mishap was a date with 45 numerology as well. Trump's the 45th president. May 23rd has 45 numerology. We'll see what happens. Berlin Wall equals 45. The ongoing connections with Trump and the wall. You want to know something else funny? Humpty Dumpty equals 58. Trump was the winner of the 58th presidential election. Went through the 58th presidential inauguration on a date with 58 numerology with a 58-year-old presenter, Steve Ray, who was hired for this ceremony. Humpty Dumpty, 58. If you don't know what Humpty Dumpty is, that's the nursery rhyme about having a great fall from the wall. So I'll link all this information. I'll link the older videos. Search my older videos for Donald Trump, May 23rd. They're all there. Please tune into my radio show tonight if you can. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. out east. 3-hour radio program, caller-friendly program. If you want to call in, the number's 866-37-TRUTH. 866-37-TRUTH. I heard that last week's show had a glitch if you tried to listen on the website. You can listen to that full episode if you missed it by going to episode number 25 and listen now. The whole episode's here. It was a regular program. We had all of our callers. I'm sorry for the people who had the glitch who couldn't listen. That should be corrected this week. I'll link Truth Frequency Radio down below. That's every Wednesday night, 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific. We'll be talking about this, everything else going on in the headlines, and more. Always a good program. I'll also be calling YouTube later today. They open in 10 minutes, so I'll call them real soon. If you don't know what's going on with my channel, I've been slandered. I've been attacked by the Shill Network. YouTube hasn't lifted a finger to help me out. A lot of people using my videos, cutting them up, taking clips out of context, slandering me. YouTube has not lifted a finger to do anything about any of these videos slandering me, but YouTube just gave me a copyright strike because I have a video protecting myself. I uploaded another YouTuber making threats against me to show that those threats were made and those threats were delivered on. That video was to protect myself. YouTube gave me a copyright strike for protecting myself. A man threatened me on Christmas Eve. My house was crashed into on Christmas Eve by a car. That same man made a video about telling a story about a dead squirrel and myself. A dead squirrel was then found on my property. And then that same person made a video saying they were going to hack and destroy my channel. My channel was hacked. Many videos were deleted, and I lost over 1 million views. And so I put up a video showing this person making those 3 threats, showing how all 3 of those things happened, and YouTube gives me a copyright strike for it. Unreal. And now this same person who did that is saying that they're going to file 2 more copyright strikes within the next 48 hours and get my channel deleted. And if YouTube, grants their request, my channel will be deleted in the next 48 hours. I'm not deleting the videos that this person's threatening against. I want my channel to be deleted if YouTube's going to do this so people can see what YouTube's really about. This person who made these threats, who now got the copyright strike against my channel, they have YouTubers uploading videos about them going back to 2009 saying that this person is paid for disinformation, hooked up with law enforcement, and is here to intimidate and threaten the real truth speakers on YouTube. And there's videos going back to 2009 showing that this person has killed animals to send threats just as they did to me with the dead squirrel on my property. This person is really murdering animals, threatening people, and making a living on YouTube with a monetized channel going on 8 years, and YouTube has never lifted a finger to do anything about this person. Now again, just in case you missed the video I put out, this person's name is Montegraph, and whoops, you got to spell it right. Montegraph. The 113 is what's crucial. This is the number of Freemasonry. He's all into the black and white checkerboard symbolism, just like Masonic temples. YouTube, in case you didn't know this about YouTube, I'll just show you real quick. You can verify this yourself. What day did YouTube upload its first video? The date was April 23rd, 2005. Montegraph has been on YouTube since at least 2009, intimidating people. What day of the week is April 23rd, or what day of the year? April 23rd is the 113th day of the year. Number of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. It's not hard to see that Montegraph's a Freemason. It's not hard to see that YouTube is run by Freemasonry, just like everything else. And it's not hard to see why all these people are allowed to slander me and put out all this false information and YouTube doesn't care. None of those channels will get a copyright strike. But for me protecting myself against someone literally threatening me and causing real problems in my life, deleting my hard work, putting a dead squirrel on my property, possibly being connected to a car crashing into my house on Christmas Eve. Not only did he threaten me in a YouTube video for Christmas Eve, I got a letter in the mail threatening me for the same thing from an anonymous address. You see what we're up against, people? Don't let this give you fear. Let it help you find your courage. Because the day enough people rise up and start speaking out as I am, all this will be put to rest. If you're out there and can find out who Montegraph really is and where he lives, I would love to know that information. I got time for a personal trip to go put an end to Montegraph myself. I should be able to say that just fine based on everything he said against me and that has happened. I put my real name out here. People know what my real address is. Montegraph's been posting my real address. YouTube lets him do that. I should be able to go settle the score man to man. So if anybody wants to let me know where Montegraph's at, please do. I'll pay Montegraph a little visit. Tee-hee. I sure will. For anyone who don't know how Montegraph speaks, that's exactly what he sounds like. Backwoods hillbilly. Always does his little tee-hee and says, sure will. He's a fucking piece of shit. So anyway, sorry to get off topic, but all these things are related. It's the Freemasonic Zionist Jew network that's responsible for all of this. Think we covered it all. I'll link all this information below, Truth Seeker. I'll link the video you missed. It's funny, this morning when I woke up, I had 40,523 subscribers. YouTube's always playing with my stats. The final post I put on my blog last night was about 523 in the Bonnie and Clyde thing. Until next time, Truth Seeker.